YouTube, it's Erica coming at you with a week 1 RNY Gastric Bypass post-op update. Today, or rather, this week has been a good week. I consider it a good week. I didn't have too much gas issues in regards to like up here. I did a lot of research prior to surgery, and one of the things that really like stressed me out and made me worry was that I would have all of that pain up here, and I didn't have any of that. Yeah, I didn't have any of that. I did have the other kinds of gas though, you know. Being an RNY patient, it's a well-known fact that post-op your passing of gas is really nasty, and it didn't disappoint. I'm pretty sure I almost made myself throw up once. My husband has left the room. It's pretty gross. Let's see. What else? It's been a pretty good week. I haven't been on any pain meds. I think the last time I took pain meds was Friday early morning, while I was still in the hospital. I got a dose of the Dilaudid that they had me on, hooked up to the IV, and around, I think it was like 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. they unhooked me and I took a shower, and then they just didn't hook me up because they planned on discharging me. So I haven't really had any pain meds since Friday of last week, which the Dilaudid didn't help. It just knocked me out. So I'm pretty sure the Vicodin that I have here at home is a liquid Vicodin. Wouldn't help. It would just make me sick because Vicodin makes me nauseous, and it wouldn't take away the pain that I was having. Let's see. Bowel movements. So bowel movements are interesting right after you get out of surgery. I had my first, I'll call it a bowel movement, even though it really was not. It was kind of like, it reminded me of baby poo. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. Your stomach is really loud when you're post-op. Yeah, it was like baby poo, and it wasn't very much. I was actually really scared to have a bowel movement because I had heard all these stories about, you know, you could burst an incision, you could cause yourself to have a hemorrhoid, all these things. So I was really worried about pushing. So I think like my body wanted to have one, but I just didn't let it. Saturday, I had a normal bowel movement. It took a little bit of time. It was very dark. It's still very dark. I think that's because of the meds and because we're on a high protein diet. So the consistency and color is, I don't even know why I'm talking about this, but it is something that we have to deal with after surgery. And I think that people should be well informed about what they're going to encounter. So it's nasty. I don't know how else to say it. So this week being home, my energy levels have progressively gotten better. When I first got home Friday, no energy. I probably didn't have any like consistent good energy until maybe 2 days ago. Yeah, I've been really tired, really slow. I took my first B12, so I think that really helped. I think that our bodies went through a lot, and it's just, it is what it is. I am trying to accept that it's going to take a while. I'm a very impatient person actually, and it's driving me crazy having to be like couch bound and being on such a strict regimen of like having to sip every couple of minutes, having to get up every half an hour, having to take vitamins at specific times, and not being able to exercise makes me crazy. I walk across my house and come back and sit down. It takes me like a minute or two and I'm exhausted. I'm out of breath. That's not normal for me. I usually hike and I'm out of breath doing hikes, but walking across my house and being out of breath is a whole new experience, which has me worried, but I know it's normal and I know eventually I'll get back to doing what I love. My incisions, I will drop a clip of those in. My incisions are good. They are bruised, and one particular incision is more painful than the rest. I found out that that's where my surgeon cut my muscle, and that's where most of, I would say 99.999% of my pain is coming from. I don't have kids, and I hope to God if I do have kids one day that I don't have to have a C-section, because I had a tiny piece of muscle. Like I mean, it's not very much muscle cut, but to have a baby and have to have all that muscle cut just seems, I'm so sorry to anybody that has to endure that. But overall, they're looking good. They're healing. The Dermabond that the doctor puts on, fantastic. I've had no issues with like peeling or anything. It's still like really on there, and excuse me, it's really on there, and they're doing really well. I wash them when I shower. I'm very gentle. I use bar soap on my hands, get it really, really sudsy, and then kind of like lightly rub them down and then spray them off. Yeah, and then when I'm out of the shower, I just pat them dry, and I've had no issues. Let's see. Have I had any NSVs? Well, I guess it's not okay, I've had one NSV in the sense that I noticed that I can see collarbone, which I've never had. Like I can do this, and then you just barely shrug and they show up. I can feel them, so that's nice. I did have a scale victory though, and it made me really excited. And I noticed literally every pound I lose from, it was 284 ever was my lowest. Every pound from that point is going to be the lowest adult weight that I've ever been. So every single pound I lose from that point on is a very exciting thing for me. Like I mentioned in previous video, I was a 200-pound sixth grader, so I have never known an adult life and a normal adult weight. So seeing these lower weights come is crazy. Speaking of weights, so we're 1 week post-op, or I'm 1 week post-op. This morning I jumped on the scale and I was 267.8, I think. There's a 13.6 pound loss in the week, which is fantastic. And I know a lot of that is just losing the innards And also probably, you know, a good amount of that is muscle loss, which kind of sucks. And then, you know, being on such a restricted calorie diet, that helps. But it's still a huge, huge thing. And I'm very excited to see and progress. Let's see, what else did I want to talk about? I think I touched point on the medication, the routine of the medication. And if one thing I could do or say that could help anybody is to download an app called MediSafe. You can enter your medications and it saves it, the medications and the time that you're supposed to take them, and it goes off every single day at the same time, so you know what medication to take. You can also snooze it if you're not quite feeling up to taking the pill. I know I've done that a couple times for a couple of the medications when I feel like I'm getting really like stuck. I have a couple of pills. One is a gallbladder medication that I was prescribed, and it's a decent sized pill. I don't know why they put me on it because it's very difficult to swallow, but it tends to get stuck, and I try really hard to take it, and I take it, but it's a mental thing. Like, I have to prepare myself to take it. Speaking of mental thing, I've been dealing with a lot, I wouldn't say a lot, but a good deal of head hunger. So I have yet to physically be hungry. My stomach hasn't growled for food, which is new. That's never happened. Like, my stomach would always growl for food. I don't feel hungry. I'm only drinking, which these are amazing. The protein 20 or 20 or whatever you want to call it. They're 60 calories and 15 grams of protein. Fantastic. If I didn't have to, I probably wouldn't, because I'm not really hungry. It's more of a doing it because I have to, which sounds weird. But it's like seeing things and smelling things, and you know how those things taste, and you want to eat it, if that makes sense. Like, since I've been home, I live with my husband and we have roommates, and, you know, I've been around pizza and burgers and Mexican food and Chinese food and everything. And it all smells good. Well, I wouldn't say all of it, because my husband did cook. Or no, my husband got something, I can't remember what it was, and it didn't smell very good. But he made crock pot chicken. So he just took plain chicken breast, and threw it in the crock pot. He made that last night and just threw some salt and pepper on it. And I know how that tastes. And I know that I love that. And I really, really wanted to eat it. It just smelled so good. But I'm not hungry for it. It's in my head. It's hard to explain. I haven't actually like eaten anything, and I haven't been tempted to eat in the sense that I'm like standing there with a fork trying to like convince myself not to. No, that's not it. It's more like I smell it, I'm like, that smells so good. Or I see it and I'm like, ooh, that looks delicious. I wish I could have a bite. That's pretty much what it boils down to. Granted, I am on week 1. We'll see how week 2 goes. We'll see how over these protein shakes I get, because I'm still on the clear liquid diet. Speaking of my clear liquids, I'm supposed to be at 64 ounces of water / liquids. And my protein goal is between 60 and 80 grams a day. Now, I'm probably hitting 50 ounces-ish. I'm not hitting these goals exactly. The protein goals, I'm getting close. I think like 57, 60, like, but I noticed at the end of the night that I start to get really full up in here and I just can't manage anything else. So I'm going to try to work on that today and kind of beat my last tally of stuff. So anyways, that's my week 1 update. I will probably be back with a week 2. But I hope you guys have a great week, and we'll see you on the flip side. Bye.